Welcome back, everyone, to another week of NFL picks. Week 3 was another just strange week. We had wins by the Jets, the Bears, the Patriots almost were upset by the Texans, and yeah, there's still moving pieces that we're trying to figure out between these teams. And the most we can do right now is take what we have seen in previous weeks, apply it to the current week, and try to make the right decisions with the information we have. So before we get into week 4, I want to take a minute and talk to you guys about a new fantasy app called Play Draft. And Draft is the first 100% mobile daily fantasy sports platform. And we have a promo for you guys. If you sign up using our link on our website, DFP is going to be populated in the promo code line. And all first-time users that deposit $10 or more are going to receive our season-long membership for NFL. It's a $40 value that you guys will get included. And another thing, signing up with our link, you are going to receive a free $3 entry on Draft. And just to give a brief background on Draft, they offer snake drafts that take less than 5 minutes. They have head-to-head contests. They have 3-man, 6-man, 10-man. Personally, I love the 3-man contests, and you can win cash prizes. So it's the same scoring as FanDuel, so you don't have to learn a new scoring platform. So be sure to take a look at it, use our link signing up, and like I said, when you guys sign up with our link, you will receive access to our NFL content for the season at no charge. So now that we've covered that, let's get into a week 3 recap of some of the picks we got right and some that we got wrong. So first, starting out, Derek Carr, huge letdown. I mentioned last week I was worried about who Josh Norman was going to be lined up on. I wasn't as concerned with Breeland opposite to him. And between the two of them, they managed to shut down Cooper and Crabtree. So it was just a bad game for the Raiders overall. And that pick just did not pan out. Next, Jay Ajayi, another one that we missed on. In the Dolphins' first game, Ajayi had 30 carries, and that's where I really saw a good matchup opportunity with the Jets. I thought game script was in his favor. Everything just completely reversed on that. Ajayi, as the week went on, he had injury news that came out. We had updated that, and I just took more and more Ajayi out of my lineups as the week went on. I still had about 20% of them, so any lineups with Ajayi just went dead. Next, Kelvin Benjamin. He was hurt early in the game against the Saints. Another good matchup opportunity, I thought, with Greg Olsen being out, but you can't predict injuries, so we have to move on with our process. Now, taking a look at some of the picks we got right, AJ Green, that was my favorite play of the week. I have him nearly on all my teams across the board on Draftkings and FanDuel. Zach Ertz, he has seen double-digit targets now in multiple games. I think he's a great option going forward as well. T.Y. Hilton was someone we wrote up in our article as the week went on as added picks to our list. Kareem Hunt, we wrote him up as well. And then finally, I wrote up Rodgers and Nelson. Once we got more clarity on the Randall Cobb situation, I really loved Jordy in the slot going against the Bengals. They give up yards in the middle of the field. So once we had the news that Jordy was going to be lining up in the slot, I had a lot of lineups where I stacked Rodgers with Jordy. So Jordy getting the 2 touchdowns was huge. And yeah, moving on to this week. So yeah, anyone that is members have access to our weekly picks and also Miles, his game-by-game breakdown. And we make updates to those as the week goes on. So those are available to our members for the current week. So let's move on to the week 4 picks. Starting out at quarterback this week, Marcus Mariota. Now, this is a GPP and tournament play for me this week. And the intrigue with Mariota is how good the offensive line has been playing for the Titans this season. In the last 2 games against the Jaguars and the Seahawks, the offensive line has only given up 6 pressure plays to Mariota. And Mariota's a guy, too, that he can use his feet if pressure is applied. So only having 6 plays where he's put under pressure, Mariota thrives when he's given time to let pass plays develop, or he can take off on his feet if those options aren't there. And this week, I really like pairing Mariota with Rashard Matthews, who has seen 24 targets this year and took advantage of Corey Davis being absent last game. And that's something we're going to want to just monitor as the week goes on. If Corey Davis plays or not, that depends on if you can play Rashard Matthews. But I like the matchup he's got this week as well. Next, moving on to running backs. First, we have Le'Veon Bell. He is $8,700. He just continues to get priced down. And now we are entering Bell's 4th preseason game, and he's trending in the right direction as we head into the regular season. Yes, I know I'm joking, but the lack of preseason work that Bell was able to get, it really set him back those first couple weeks, and it showed. Like, the Steelers' offense has not been clicking. But Bell has accounted for over 85% of the running back snaps for the Steelers. And although this matchup against the Ravens doesn't look the best on paper, Bell's getting into form, and he sees the usage and has the ceiling we want in GPPs and tournaments. And at this price, I mean, we're not going to be able to get him at this price much longer. I mean, it's not going to be long before he jumps over $1,000 in salary over these coming weeks. So in cash games, I'm probably going to be paying down at running back. But in GPPs, I mean, this is a guy that's got 40-point upside easily, and we've seen that in the past. Next, the other running back I'm liking this week is Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook has just been on the wrong side of touchdown variance this year. He got his first touchdown last week. Cook is accounted for 170 total scrimmage yards last week against the Bucs. Cook is a bell cow for the Vikes, and he has shown he can be a 3-down back with his rushing, pass catching, and pass protection. Something that the Vikings coaching staff really values, and that wasn't something AP was able to give the Vikings. So, I mean, Cook has looked good this year. That first game, he looked a little shaky, pass catching out of the backfield, but that has been much improved. The Lions gave up over 160 rushing yards last week to the Falcons running backs, and they also had 6 receptions for 70 yards. So I love the matchup for Cook, and I think he's a great play as a home team running back as well. Next, we got Keenan Allen, 7,200, and Keenan disappointed a lot of people last week. However, he still had 9 targets and is averaging almost 10 targets per game. This is a great bounce back spot for Allen at reduced ownership. With 10 targets, Allen could have a monster game if he finds the end zone as well. In GPPs, I like stacking Rivers with Allen here, and I think that's going to really have some low ownership after last week's disappointing effort. Next, we got Demaryius Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders, and I love these Bronco wide receivers. We know exactly where the targets are going in this Denver offense, something that's been tough to predict early on in the season. and something we don't quite figure out until another few weeks go on. But we know where the targets are going. This is a great matchup for Denver, and a game they can bounce back after last week in Buffalo. Even with Simeon struggling last week, Sanders and Demaryius still put up respective numbers. And both these wide receivers are in play, and I think they're a great option this week. Next, we have DeAndre Hopkins, and Hopkins is just gobbling up targets this year. This price range is going to be where a lot of my wide receiver exposure goes, in this mid 6,000 range. Hopkins is averaging an insane 12 targets per game. Granted, they aren't the most efficient targets with Watson throwing to him. It's a good matchup, and I think the chemistry between these two gets better as the season goes on. So I think you can safely put DeAndre Hopkins into your lineups this week. Next, let's take a look at tight end. We got Gronk here at 6,600. And Gronk is priced way too low for the upside he gives. At 6,600, you're looking at a guy that easily has multiple touchdown upside, and he's been one of Brady's favorite targets. We know this. This year is no different. He's got 25 targets on the year, and last week it looked like his groin injury is not an issue, so you got to take Gronk while he's priced low, because this price is not going to stay around for much longer. So with his touchdown equity, Gronk's a great play this week. The Patriots are at home, and Tom Brady is on a roll. So get a piece of Gronk in your lineups. Next, we have Zach Ertz. He's priced at 6,300. Now, he has gone up quite a bit in salary. If you guys remember week 1, he was priced at 3,500, just an egregious pricing error by Draftkings. And hey, he's right there in Gronk's range. So I think this is going to suppress his ownership with Ertz in another good spot this week. Casey Hayward is most likely going to shadow Alshon Jeffrey. So I think this really is going to funnel targets to Ertz this week. Ertz has been heavily involved in the offense, averaging 9 targets a game. And like I mentioned, his ownership's going to definitely be decreased this week with the price increase. But I still think it's a really solid contrarian roster construction move this week. All right, and finally, let's take a look at the value plays of the week. First, we have Mohamed Sanu at 4,800. And an interesting stat to begin with for Sanu is that he has seen 21 targets on the season with 1 touchdown, compared to Julio Jones, who has 26 targets and no touchdowns. Some news we have to monitor as the week goes on. Julio is battling a back injury currently, so this could open up opportunities for Sanu. I like Sanu regardless if Julio plays. I would actually prefer him to play and not be 100% and just kind of be out there as a decoy, and gives a huge opportunity to Sanu this week. He's Matt Ryan's red zone target over Julio, and I think he makes a lot of sense against the Bills defense, who are not as strong against the pass. And like I said, with Julio injured, this is just the prime spot at a great price for Sanu. Next, we have Marquise Lee at 4,500. And Marquise Lee's priced right around Allen Hurns. And while Hurns does have 2 touchdowns on the year, Lee is leading him in targets with 23 to Hurns 14. Lee's been the wrong side touchdown variance this year. And last week with Mercedes Lewis catching 3 touchdowns, look for those opportunities to be there for Lee this week against the Jets, and lock him in at 4,500. I just think this is a no-brainer in the matchup, and Bortles looked decent last week. I'm not gonna say anything more than that. So I think Lee's a great play. And lastly, we have Joe Mixon at 5,700. And under Bill Lazor's helm last week, we saw how the new weapon was unleashed with Mixon. He had 18 of the Bengals' 28 carries and also was second on the team in receiving with 3 catches for almost 40 yards. Mixon's trending as a clear favorite in the Bengals' backfield, and I want to jump on him before he's priced $1,000 higher and at 10% higher ownership or even more. His passing game threat is also very appealing on a site like Draftkings, and I want to use as much Mixon as possible before the rest of the crowd jumps in and gets on him. So those are the value plays of the week. Be sure to follow us on Twitter if you guys are not already. We always post some of the breaking news on there as well as on our website. And our website can be reached at DailyFantasyPress.com. And lastly, be sure to subscribe. Give us a thumbs up if you guys enjoy the video, and any feedback is welcome as well. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. And also with that draft special that we are offering with our NFL membership, the link is below in the description as well. So you can click that link on draft to sign up. And I hope you guys have a successful week 4, and we will see you guys next week.